Boldwood presents High Sea Seduction, written by Zara Cox, and read by Naomi Wood and Josh Witchard. Letter to my 16-year-old self. Dear crazy you, it's 10 years from now, and this is what I've learned. Don't be afraid to stand up to the bullies who tease you for having big boobs at 15. Trust me, big boobs are badass. They'll be even better at 25 when you've learned to use them to your better advantage. It's okay to be a nerd. Nerds rule the fucking world. Don't get in the elevator with that old man at Bloomingdale's on your 17th birthday. If you do, you'll never use tweezers again. When mom tells you it's time to get on the pill, please, please, please don't fight her on it. I can't stress this enough, Keely Nina Benson. Just don't. Now listen very carefully, because this one's important. 19 is going to be rough. Way rougher than you think you'll be able to cope with. Hang in there. The pain may not go away. There may be times when you'll want to end it all. Times when putting one foot in front of the other, or just breathing, will seem like a task too far. Hang in there. Because there will be moments of acute, ceaseless joy. They may be fleeting, but fuck it. Yeah, you've taken up swearing. A lot. Hang in there. I love you, even though you may not feel it right now. I love you. Kay Benson, kiss, kiss, kiss. P.S. That pink streak in your hair may look cool now, but you'll hate it in a month. Do yourself a favor. Go with the purple. I'm older. I may not be a whole lot wiser, but listen to me anyway. Chapter 1. Keely. Orion's Belt. Cassiopeia. Ursa Minor. I feel him approach, but I keep my gaze trained upward on the piercing stars flung carelessly on a blanket of velvet in the night sky. I search feverishly for patterns I learned a lifetime ago, before a time when I needed something celestial to ground me in the darkness. Something to connect me to the universe, so I won't feel so uselessly untethered. His footsteps draw closer. I keep my head up, refusing to let the consternation and bewilderment take over. I am above that. I am woman. I am strong. Yeah, maybe not that last part. The blush grows from my neck and covers my cheeks, my face. Awareness engulfs me as he hovers behind me, his presence an entity I can't deny. I squint harder at the cold, bright stars, but my attention begins to waver. Nothing connects. Damn it. What the hell do you want? It's 36 degrees out here without the wind chill. I figure you can use a blanket. His deep, growly voice says behind me. As if reminded that I'm barefoot on a beach in Montauk in late February, goosebumps pile upon goosebumps, and my body screams distress signals to my brain. I shiver so hard, despite my determination to ignore my body's pain, that I nearly upend myself. My discomfort isn't enough to make me retrieve my shoes and go back inside, though. He steps closer. I don't need a damn blanket. If I wanted one, I'd have brought one with me. I lift the chilled, open bottle of vintage Dom Perignon Onotech clutched in my right hand and take a huge, bracing gulp. Fuck yeah. My best friend, Bethany Green, just got officially engaged to the catch of the century and the love of her life. Personally, Zachary Savage isn't my type. All that caveman possessive shit just gets on my nerves. But they are ecstatically happy. He worships the ground she walks on, and after the years she's endured and the snippets of his past I've become privy to, they deserve a little, no, make that a lot, of happiness. And if a small part of me is jealous of all that happiness, I intend to drown it dead with a little help from Dom P. As soon as this intruder, the reason for me blushing like a damn schoolgirl virgin, goes away. I came out here, Einstein, because I want to be alone. So if you don't mind? I dangle the question, seeing if he'll take the bait. If not, it'll be my pleasure to shove it down his throat. Take the blanket, then I'll leave, he says again. This time, I'm not sure if my shiver is to do with the ridiculously low temperatures or his low, husky voice. Whatever. Fine, I sigh and reach behind me, without taking my gaze off the constellations. I don't want to turn around. I don't want to see his face. Not after the freak-out episode he just witnessed. It wasn't the things I said 10 minutes ago in Bethany's kitchen that were embarrassing in and of themselves. Hell, I talk about my vagina all the time. I feel zero embarrassment for that part. It was the desolation, the fear, the neediness as I clung to my best friend while prattling nonsense that makes me not want to face the man behind me now. I'm okay with feeling desperately sorry for myself. Not so cool with complete strangers seeing beneath my skin. The last time I felt like this was 6 years and 1 day ago. After what my parents refer to as my unfortunate episode. The date is engraved in my mind since it was my 19th birthday. Valentine's Day, for fuck's sake. It was the day I set out to end it all, and failed. All of that same insecure fucking panic was in my voice as I stood in Bethany's kitchen and talked about my clit, my neglected and lonely pussy, and my need for a man with a big cock. Except they were meant just as euphemisms. A cry for help, which my self-aware mind contrived. I know this because I have above-average intelligence. Some Stephen Hawking-type person with thick, super nerdy bifocals told me so when I was 16. At the time, having what I already knew confirmed made me smug and superior for all of 5 seconds. Gradually, I've come to see that news as a curse. It means that most of the time I know what's wrong with me, but often don't have the tools to fix it. I especially hate that this ball of anguish, which I carry around inside me, will never go away because I don't know how to fix myself. Because I tried again yesterday, tried to end it all, and failed. Another shiver races through me along with the realization that the blanket isn't in my hand. I snap my fingers, impatient to get on with my new and highly enlightened get drunk and freeze to death plan. A moment later, the weight of a fleece blanket drapes over my shoulders, enveloping me in unwanted warmth. Manners dictate I should say thank you, but I don't want to engage this man. He's seen me at my most vulnerable. Besides Beth and my parents, no one else has seen that side of me. So I walk away, just a few feet to where a large rock juts out of the water. The tide has receded a little, so I can sit on it without getting my feet wet. I perch and take another swig of champagne. Then I hear him. He's moving closer. Mr. Rusty Social Skills, as he called himself when I snarled at his eavesdropping in the kitchen, is clearly not into getting messages, even when they are spelled out loud and clear. Are we really doing this? I ask, after a few more satisfying, but less than bracing, gulps. Looking at the stars? Yep. The plow is particularly bright tonight. I hang my head, my soul weary and my body chilled to the bone. Please, don't, I whisper, my voice barely audible above the sound of crashing waves. We don't have to talk about the stars. We can talk about the pygmies in Africa. Do you know they fuck every day for the month of May, then don't have sex for the rest of the year? He imparts. My head whips around. That's not true. I realize, too late, what he's done. Snap my head back around and raise the bottle to my lips. Fuck off. Seriously, I growl. but that quick look has sparked a tiny curiosity, one I'm determined to hide. Can I at least apologize for the accidental eavesdropping? He presses. Why is it important to you? You won't see me again after tonight. You really don't need to apologize for being inadvertently privy to the sorry state of my vagina. Go back to the party. Hell, you have my permission to share the gossip. With any luck, you can get my clit trending. He remains silent for several minutes, and I don't know if he's digesting the information or is stunned by my direct talk. I know most men find my brazen mouth a little off-putting. I've given up caring. I've given up caring about a lot of things lately. I don't like parties, and the state of your vagina doesn't interest me in the least, he says, finally. My mouth drops open, and I start to turn, increasingly intrigued against my will. I stop myself at the last moment and glare at the black, roiling sea. Then what do you want? Maybe I'm curious to know why a beautiful, intelligent woman is determined to freeze to death during her best friend's engagement party. And please, don't make crude references to your female parts. We both know this has nothing to do with sex. The certainty and confidence with which he says all this throws me for a second. A particularly brisk wind slashes across my face, bringing me back to myself. Since you don't know me well enough to judge my intelligence, how about I just thank you for the beautiful comment and the blanket, and let's be done with this conversation. I stand, ready to move off again. I sense him rise to his feet, hear him brush sand from his pants. Is there any reason you won't look at me, Keely? My breath catches slightly at the way my name sounds on his lips. Then I steel my spine. This has gone on long enough. Because I don't want to talk to you. Nothing personal, but I really want to be alone. Even a guy with rusty social skills can surely compute such a simple request. My voice is growing exasperated, and I resent him for that. I could leave, but then Zach would cut off vital parts of my anatomy I prefer to hang on to should anything happen to you. Bethany, too, I'm guessing, although I don't know her well enough to judge. A reluctant smile tugs at my lips as I think of my friend and her fiancé. But then I sober up. What if I promise to just sit on this rock and enjoy my champagne? Then I hope you won't mind some silent company. We don't need to talk. Hell, I won't even ask how you know the mating habits of African pygmies, although I have a feeling it has something to do with the intelligent part. Or maybe I'm addicted to the Discovery Channel. I don't bother to hide the snark in my voice. I'm disappointed it takes so little to impress you. I gulp some more champagne, and am heartened to see that half of it is gone. Great. Maybe I'll freeze to death quicker with $3,000 worth of champagne swishing around inside me. I didn't say I was impressed. The cadence of his voice tells me he's smiling. Fucker. I don't care what you are, Rusty. All I care about right now is being left in peace. Rusty? I remain silent. I drink. Finally, I begin to feel a buzz. It's not strong enough to drown out my thoughts or the unsettling presence of my unwelcome beach companion, but it's definitely a buzz. Raising my head, I stare at the stars again, a little pleased to see them weave in and out. I make out Ursa Minor, but just barely. Yes, definitely a buzz. You know, there are over— What the fuck are you doing? Making conversation? I surge to my feet and face him, anger bubbling through my veins. That's when I see him, really see him, for the first time. Back in the kitchen, I was too embarrassed and ragey to really take him in. Now, for the first few seconds, while losing a few billion brain cells, I'm taken aback by his intense, attractive looks. Even with the full beard and unruly hair, he's breathtaking in a way that few men can pull off. My eyes drift over his thick, folded arms, and the cross-legged stance he's adopting as he perches on his own rock. There isn't enough light out here to determine the color of his eyes, but he stares back at me with a directness that's unsettling, despite the layer of sadness in the dark depths. Then his gaze drifts over the blanket, as if he can see my body through the thick wool. My bare feet seem to intrigue him the most, and I can almost feel him touching each digit. My toes curl into the cold sand, prompting a quirked brow from him that finally frees me from my stupid tongue-tiedness. You're not making conversation. You're making specific conversation. About stars. That's probably because I know a little about them. No, actually, that's not true. I know a lot about stars. And a whole range of other things, too. Pick a subject. I see you're not the humble type. Is that the type that interests you? He fires back, raising a hand to drag his fingers through his thick facial hair. I find that oddly distracting. Enough to fire up my anger another few notches. God! If all of Savage's friends are like you, then I'm glad I never let him set me up with one of them like he wanted to. Something gleams in his eyes, but it's gone too quickly for me to hammer down what it is. But I get the feeling he didn't like my reference to Zach's friends. I toss my hair and settle back on my rock, but I continue to look at him. How are you on the subject of silence and practicing it? He doesn't respond. He merely smiles, showing perfect white teeth, which, for some reason, I can imagine biting my clit. I suppress a shudder, and after a few minutes, I turn around and face the churning waves again. The silence holds, but whatever peace I hope to find is gone forever. His presence is too distracting, too overpowering. Now I want to engage him. That realization alone makes me drink some more, thus increasing my buzz. My bottle is getting lighter. Soon it'll be empty. The thought makes me incredibly sad. Maybe when I'm done, I'll shed the blanket and walk into the ocean, try again to do what I failed to manage in my bath last night. Keely. God, he's relentless. What? Was that my voice? That bleak but eager response? Desperate for some sort of tether to a world I no longer want to be in? You know when I said I wasn't the least bit interested in your vagina? He inquires in that low, dark, increasingly alluring voice. Suddenly, I'm not feeling so cold anymore. I'm alert, and I'm holding my breath. Yeah? I lied. Chapter 2. Keely. I get up from my rock, drop the blanket and bottle. My feet crunch through cold, packed sand as I run into the icy, white waves. Jesus! Freezing water closes over my calves and rushes up my thighs. My silk skirt is soaked in seconds, but I keep going. Before I can throw myself headlong into the Atlantic, strong, implacable arms seize my waist. Let me go! I grab his wrists, desperately trying to dislodge his hold. Fuck no. What the hell is wrong with you? He raises me clear of the water as a strong wave hurls into us. He curses and struggles to keep his footing and me from landing in the water. Still clutching me in his arms, he walks us backward toward dry land. Tears prickle my eyes, fill them, and begin to spill down my cheeks. I keep my head bent. I don't want him to see my despair and shame. He doesn't. He's too busy cursing and striding to the outdoor shower near the steps leading up to Zach and Beth's house. I'm not exactly lightweight, but he carries me as if I weigh nothing, his step sure and confident in the sand. He reaches the shower and places me on my feet, one hand clamped around my waist to keep me there while he switches on the jets and waits for the water to warm up. I can feel him staring at me. But I keep my head down, for the first time in my life, almost afraid to look another human being in the eye. God, what's wrong with me? That's what he asked me, and what I've asked myself most of my life. Foolish question, really. I know exactly what's wrong with me. I did the unforgivable 6 years ago. And unlike the fairy tales expound, time doesn't heal all wounds. It makes it worse. Time bloats the pain, feeds it until you're one huge walking piece of agony. You react like this every time a guy tells you he's interested in you? Gone is the amusement in Rusty's tone. Instead, his voice is hard, almost sinister. I feel the bite in it slash over my skin, as if his voice is a living abrasive brush. I told you to leave me alone. So what? You could drown yourself? A little selfish on your part, don't you think? He snarls. My head snaps up, tears forgotten. Excuse me? You picked today, of all days, at your supposed best friend's engagement party to drown yourself? I breathe in, slowly, not sure whether the emotion moving through me is anger or humiliation, or a combination of both. I don't know who the hell you think you are, but it doesn't really matter who I am. What matters is that you understand that if you want to pull a shitty stunt like this, you can fucking wait until tomorrow to do it. There are 2 people up there who have been through hell and back, one of whom is supposed to be your goddamn friend, who deserve not to have their night fucked up because you're drunk and a little sad that your poor sex life is in the toilet. Anger. Definitely anger. Who the fuck do you think? Get in. He cuts across me, dropping his right hand to his side after testing the water temperature. No, I return coldly, reminded all over again why I detest domineering men. He doesn't say a word. In the next second, I'm lifted off my feet and placed beneath the hot spray. Welcoming warmth cascades over me, and I realize how cold I am. But I'm too angry to appreciate the heat. Hell, I'm incandescent. Before I can say a word, he steps in with me and crowds me against the marble tiles. I gasp and raise my head to find his eyes, a deep hazel that appears almost dark gold in the soft lights placed around the shower. Narrowed, his gaze daring me to do anything other than what he wants. I push his chest, hard. He doesn't budge, just stares at me like I'm a puny fly and he's a fucking mountain. Which I guess he is. It dawns on me how big he is. Well over 6'3" to my 5'6". Normally my heels lend me a good 4 inches of confidence, but I came out here barefoot, and I have a giant in front of me. A giant with a chest built to stop tornadoes in their tracks. Or a stupid woman intent on ruining his friend's engagement party. That's what his gaze tells me. I push harder. His hands capture mine, holding them prisoner against his chest. I blink at him through the water cascading down my face and glare harder. Get the fuck out of my way. Anyone tell you that you have a very dirty mouth? Do I look like I care what anyone has to say about my mouth? His gaze drops to my lips. The water running over them intensifies the sudden tingle of awareness at this stare. I have to fight the impulse to lick them, just as I fight the urge to stare at his mouth in return. No, you don't. It's still no excuse to talk like a goddamn sailor, he says. I believe in getting to the point as quickly as possible. Equivocating isn't really my thing. I hear you fine without the extra filth. I don't think you do, because here you are, still in my fucking way. Something dark and dangerous gleams in his eyes, and a residual shiver crawls up my spine. His chest expands beneath my palms, and he slowly exhales. "If you were mine, I'd spank that dirty mouth right out of you," he murmurs, his tone once again that deep and mesmerizing quality, which makes me want to stand on tiptoe and strain closer so I can hear more of his voice. "Well, I'm not yours, Rusty. And FYI, I hate being spanked." "Probably because it hasn't been done in the right way. But I could teach you to love it," he replies, his eyes raking my face with an intense intimacy that fires up a spark in my belly. "I can teach you to love a whole lot of things, Keely." That spark turns into a flame. For a moment, I can't define what the feeling is. Then I realize it's arousal. I'm at once sad and elated. Sad because it's been so long that I've forgotten what arousal feels like. Elated because, well, I'm not dead below the waist after all. But this arousal isn't the kind I normally feel for a guy I want to sleep with. This feeling is different. It's sharper, more intense, as if it could actually cause damage if ignored. Which is ridiculous. I pull my hands away, and he lets me go. But he doesn't move from his guardian position. I turn around, let the water cascade down my back. My silk Donna Karan outfit is ruined, but what the hell? It feels good to be warm. Despite the guilt and pain clawing through me, it feels good to be alive. "You can go now. I promise I won't try to drown myself," I mutter loud enough for him to hear. He doesn't move. I sigh. I wasn't really going to drown myself. I was just trying to clear my head a little. "With a bottle of champagne inside you? You have to do better than that." "Look, Rusty, my name is Mason. Mason Sinclair. You can call me Mason or Sinclair. Rusty doesn't work for me." There's a hard command in his voice that impresses the seriousness of his dislike for the nickname. "Okay, Mason. If you knew me better, you'd know I'll never do that to Beth, especially not by drowning myself. She has a history with water." I stop, knowing I'm verging on being indiscreet about my best friend's past. "I know," Mason says. I turn my head, meet his eyes. "You know?" He nods. "Zach asked for my help last year in how to assist Bethany to tackle her fear of water." My eyes widen. "Are you some sort of doctor?" His eyes gleam again, and he sluices the water from his face and beard. "I'm a lot of things. Are you warm enough?" he asks. I nod absently, and he reaches out to shut off the water. There are stacks of towels on a shelf next to the shower. He grabs two and hands me one. I quickly mop up the water in my hair and slide the towel over my wet clothes. But it's no use. I'm still dripping and getting chillier by the second. He grabs two more and tugs one around my shoulders. "Let's get you changed before you catch pneumonia." He steps back and indicates the house. Still reeling from the fact that he knows about Bethany's near drowning and the fear she has of water, I start walking before I realize that he's still commanding, and I'm obeying. We reach the steps leading to the house, and I stop. "What?" "My room is upstairs." There are only two ways to get to my room: the kitchen and the front entrance. Both will be filled with guests, and I don't want anyone to see me like this. Like Mason, I don't want anything to ruin Bethany and Zach's night. "Come on, I'm staying in the pool house. You can use my bathroom," Mason says. I hesitate, because, hello, I'm from Brooklyn. Only stupid-ass women in B movies accept invitations like these. "No thanks." He inhales. "If I wanted to harm you, I'd have done it on the beach where I was less likely to be discovered." Maybe you like toying with your victims first, I challenge. You see yourself as a victim? He asks, with a touch of amusement. Only one way to find out. Try something, I dare him. He tunnels his fingers through his hair in exasperation. This is why I hate these things, he mutters beneath his breath. There's a genuine bitterness in his tone that fans my interest higher. What things? I ask, in spite of myself. He shakes his head and starts to walk up the steps. I'm sure you know where the pool house is. If you're interested in getting out of those wet clothes, feel free to come inside. If not, it's been interesting meeting you. He walks off and leaves me standing in the sand. I swear I'm not going to follow him. That I'll find a way to sneak inside the house and go up to my room without alerting anyone to my wet, disheveled state, or the frightening turmoil in my soul. But then I look up and see Bethany and Zach standing at the kitchen window, their eyes devouring each other, the sheer depth of their love a living thing I can almost reach out and touch. And I know I can't wreck their night with even a hint of my own personal drama. For one thing, I suspect Bethany already knows there's something up with me. She just hasn't taken the time to tackle me about it because she's been busy getting things ready for the party. If I show even the smallest hint of distress, she'll be on me in a flash. I can't let that happen. My emotions are too close to the surface for me to hide them adequately enough to fool her. So, I retrieve my shoes from the steps and trudge after Mason Sinclair. I reach the pool house door and knock. For several minutes, he doesn't answer. I curse under my breath and start to turn away. The door opens and he fills the space, larger than life and wearing only a pair of boxer briefs. In the brighter light, I see that his hair is a dark chocolate brown, and his eyes are indeed a golden hazel. His mouth is both sensual and cruel, as if he's seen things in life he's loved and hated at the same time. And his body, God, I don't even bother to hide my interest in his body. Lean, but muscular in a way only a seasoned athlete can achieve. There's a tensile strength in him, a latent energy pulsing through him that reeks of danger and the not-so-civilized. My scrutiny reaches his very masculine feet, and I try not to smirk at the size of them. But my gaze travels back up and lingers at his groin. The thickness outlined against the black cotton is impressive, but I wish I had X-ray vision right now. I want to see the real thing. If you're looking for the bathroom, it's this way. He interrupts my porny thoughts, and a flush crawls up my face as I lift my gaze from his crotch. Thanks. I avoid his probing stare as I slide past him and enter the large living room. As with the main house, the pool house has been designed with luxurious comfort in mind. Heated floors warm my feet as I walk through the cream and black decorated room. Expensive landscapes adorn the walls, and a couple of sculptures on pedestals complement the thick sofas and entertainment center arranged in front of a large, already lit stone fireplace. I go past the two master bedrooms to the bathroom at the end of the hallway. Shutting the door on the intense gaze I can feel boring into my back, I breathe a sigh of relief. I quickly disrobe and shrug on the smaller of the two guest bathrobes hanging at the back of the door. Opening a drawer in the vanity, I find a new hairbrush and run it through my shoulder-length hair, all without meeting my eyes in the mirror. I know what I'll see. Weariness, bitterness, guilt. But I'm too exhausted to deal with it tonight. So I put away the hairbrush, tighten the robe belt, and open the door. Mason is leaning against the wall right outside the bathroom. He's dressed in jeans and a black t-shirt, but he's barefoot, and his gaze is locked on me. The dark and dangerous hunger lurking in his eyes is unmistakable. My breath catches. So, what now? I ask. You come and have a drink with me. You can tell me what's wrong with you, or we can discuss how quickly we dance around each other before you let me fuck you.
Chapter 3. Mason. With remote fascination, I watched the battle on her face. She's debating whether to come at me all guns blazing or pretend I don't exist. I don't really mind which option she chooses. She can walk out of here, and all I'll feel is a modicum of disappointment. Maybe more than a modicum. There's something compelling about her. Something I should probably walk away from. Maybe I'm drawn to her turmoil because I have the same storm raging inside me. The need to smash, destroy, roar is a never-ending buzz beneath my skin. I've learned the mechanics of letting it out. The Amazon jungle has heard it a few times in the last 6 months. It was in the rage-soaked sweat from my skin that mixed with the straw and mud as I built the school and shelters in Roraima. And I let it bleed out through the asphalt of the Pacific Coast Highway when the demons get too loud at 2 a.m. And I slide behind the wheel of my Koenigsegg, or in the converted basement of my LA house. When all else fails, I fuck. Normally, it takes about a year for the guilt and rage to come to a head. This time I've barely lasted 6 months. I can feel the tempest gathering ever closer. Annie, my facilitator at the exclusive service I use, was put on standby earlier this evening. All it'll take is a single phone call and I calm the storm. But I choose not to. Not just yet. I watch the woman in front of me in silence. She has a brash strength about her that almost camouflages the gaping vortex of pain flowing from her. Her goddess-like beauty perfects that disguise, until you choose to look beneath the surface. I'm certainly finding it a little challenging to not gape at the wet tumble of caramel blonde hair that hangs in ropes about her face and shoulders, or the wide, sensual mouth that vacillates between a pout and a typical New Yorker's sneer. She's stunning enough to stop any clear-thinking man in his tracks. For murkier-minded men like me, the allure and intrigue that shrouds her is a siren call, which howls its rapturous destruction. And yet, I cannot look away. Not yet. I'll take a drink, minus the talking. Keeley finally responds, her chin raised in pointed defiance that I almost find amusing. I nod and head to the kitchen. Her soft footsteps follow. Hot or cold? I ask when I walk past the center island. She pauses. Excuse me? Coffee, water, or club soda? I look over my shoulder and that glare is back. I don't want coffee, she growls, and I'm once again fascinated by the rich, dominatrix quality of her voice. The no-nonsense way she ends every sentence like she's impatient with the words coming out of her mouth. Or water, she adds. I open the fully stocked double fridge and take out 2 cans of soda. Soda it is, then. She watches the can I slide across the island like it's an IED. I suppress laughter as she snaps, "Is this a joke?" What's wrong? Did you think I was gonna top up your already high alcohol intake with more booze? What are you, the fucking booze monitor? She throws back at me. As I lift my own can to take a long swig, my hands itch with the need to teach her a lesson about her foul mouth. I don't plan to stick around after my meeting with Zach tomorrow, but between now and then, if she continues to pique my interest, I might just grant her the spanking she richly deserves. I don't keep any booze here. One sleekly outlined brow lifts. Afraid you'll fall off the wagon? She taunts. Yes, I answer truthfully. Again, surprise and intrigue slide across her face. Oh. Okay. Slowly, she reaches out and picks up the soda. One perfectly manicured finger toys with the rim, and something awakens inside me as I watch that finger. How long have you been sober? she asks after a few minutes of silence. 10 years, 2 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days. Her forehead creases for all of 3 seconds. You stopped drinking on Christmas Day? She says, confirming my initial impression of her quick wit. Why she chooses to hide her intelligence behind foul language in an abrasive manner isn't a subject that particularly interests me, but I find the whole package intriguing nonetheless. Yes. Her lips twitch and I can tell she's dying to ask me more. The phone I left on the island earlier buzzes, and I step closer as her gaze drops. We both see the message clearly displayed on the screen.
Welcome back, Mr. S. Your usual selection is available when you are.
Let me guess, that's your dealer? She jibes without excusing herself for reading my message. I shrug. Of sorts. Her sea-green eyes widen, and I'm thrilled to have surprised her again. She doesn't seem the sort to be easily shocked. You don't drink, but you do drugs? She asks, condemnation brimming her tone. Isn't that swapping one addiction for another? It is, if you consider sex an addiction. Her mouth drops open and she flicks a glance at the now dark screen. So that was your... It's a service I use. Yes. I drain the last of the soda, my eyes tracing the color washing up her neck. You're blushing. Does that embarrass you? She cracks the top of the soda and pulls back the lid. Did you get your sex through an escort agency? Hell, no. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed for you. She gulps the soda slightly too fast, and several drops trickle down the side of her mouth. She wipes it with the back of her hand and her color rises higher. I smile. Save your sympathy, Kaylee. I use the service for expediency, and because I detest the mindless games that society has imposed on an act that should have no frivolities. Her head tilts to one side and she slams me with a speaking look. That your fancy way of saying you don't want to buy a girl dinner before you fuck her? She can have all the dinner she wants. I just don't see the need for tedious mores or the need to display false affection before the act. So why not just club her over the head and drag her to your cave? Why do it myself when my service more than meets those particular urges? She studies my face to see if I mean it literally. When she looks away, I can't decide whether she's satisfied with what she reads in my expression or not. So you're going to call him back? She asks after another minute of thick silence. Do you want me to? I ask. Her breath catches. Why the hell should I care? My gaze drops to the escalated rise and fall of her chest, then the belt of the robe that emphasizes her trim waist. Her excitement is as obvious as the condensation dripping down the soda can. A touch of ennui seeps into my blood. And you wonder why I find all this tedious. She frowns. Perhaps if you took your time to make yourself clearer. I crush my empty soda can in my fist and she jumps at the sound. You're intelligent enough to know what's going on between us, and yet you want me to spell out my feelings before you feel comfortable with admitting you want what you want? Isn't that right? No, wrong. I don't give a rat's ass about your feelings. And just because two people happen to find each other mildly attractive doesn't mean they have to strip and fuck on the nearest flat surface. Why not? I counter. Because that would make them nothing more than base animals. But I am a base animal. And so are you. Keep your fucking insults to yourself, Rusty. She glares hard enough to drill holes in me. I take a deep breath to reel myself in. I remind myself that I've been out of the land of meaningless conversation and talking just for the sake of talking for over a year. She's ironically right in calling me Rusty. I'm rusty when it comes to fitting back into society. But I still want to teach her a lesson for that dirty mouth. For making me want to see more of that saucy body she's hiding under the robe. And as long as I remain this close to her, exchanging words, when I want to do something else entirely, the temptation will only grow. I stalk toward the living room. I need to get out of here. You going back to the party? She asks, trailing after me. God, no. If I have to smile and answer another question about my status on social media, I won't be responsible for my actions. I snarl. Wow, someone really went to town on your social skills, didn't they? I don't answer. I've reached the limit of my tolerance. I need to get out into some clean, clear air before it's too late. I grab my leather jacket and punch my arms into it, wishing for the dead silence and the simple existence of Rarema. My loafers are by the front entrance, and I shove my feet into them before I yank open the door. What the hell's so urgent? Keeley asks, still following. Can't be your escort service situation since you left your phone back there. I suck in a breath and tunnel my fingers through my hair. I just need to get some air, okay? I step out and start to shut the door. Can I come with? I turn slowly, catch her gaze. Are you sure you want to? I don't disguise the echoes of my turmoil. She licks her lips and slowly nods. Yes. My breath shudders out. I take in the short robe she's wearing and the V-shaped gap at the front that shows a hint of her breasts. I don't have time to wait for you to change. My gaze drops to her feet. Or put on shoes. She replies with a shrug. We're not going far, are we? I don't answer. I turn and skirt the pool. After a moment, I hear her behind me. The ennui evaporates from my veins, replaced by another equally dangerous drug. Lust. The unsettling kind. The kind that means I have to pay Hanny double when I'm done with one of her girls. I quicken my steps and round the back of Zach's house, or the front, depending on how you view the property. I key in the code and the quadruple garage doors roll upward. You going out? Keeley asks. I head for the indigo and black McLaren P1 GTR and slide behind the wheel. Throwing open the passenger door, I start counting silently. I reach 8 before she slides into the seat. I almost wish she didn't. The moment she shuts the door and her scent engulfs me, I know I'm gonna fuck her. Seatbelt. I growl. She complies. I step on the gas, reversing in an expert arc that throws her against me. Whoa, easy there, Rusty. She admonishes as she rights herself. My jaw clenches and my fingers curl around the cold steering wheel. I'm keeping tally, Keeley, for every time you call me that name. She laughs and fiddles with the climate control until warm air flows into the car. And how exactly do you intend to get me back, seeing as you're leaving tomorrow? The smile barely twitches on my lips. The night is still young. No, it kinda isn't. It's almost 1 a.m. Her voice holds a cautious delivery, as if she's realizing just what she's let herself in for. I don't respond as I quickly navigate the quiet streets on the outskirts of Montauk, letting the powerful engine beneath me growl and fly. I drive fast and aggressively, and every now and then I hear her breath catch when I take a corner too quickly. After about 10 miles, the turmoil in my chest starts to calm. In direct proportion, the turbulence in my pants is growing. My cock has been hardening since she slid in barefoot beside me. Seeing one fist clenched around the door handle and the other gripping the center console is not doing my libido any good either. Nor is the rapid rise and fall of her chest and the very visible outline of one breast playing peekaboo with the gaping robe. A glance at the GPS shows a mile-long road, leading to a dead end coming up on the left. I take the turn and floor the accelerator. She slams back against the seat. God, slow the fuck down, would you? I'm keeping a tally of that too. The needle rises to 100, then 120, 140. Her breath shudders out. You can keep all the goddamn tallies you want if you make me dead just one day into my 25th year. I swear you'll never have a moment of peace. I'll haunt you until you beg me to kill you. My foot doesn't lift from the pedal, but I glance at her. Yesterday was your birthday? She visibly shakes as she sees the row of white oak trees that marks the end of the road. Jesus, slow down, Rusty. Answer my question. What question? God, yes, yesterday was my birthday. What did you wish for? Not to fucking die in a psycho's car today. Her fingers have turned white and her face is ashen with fright. One nipple is fully exposed and I feel the blood rushing through my veins. Please. The word explodes from her lips. Slow down. She whispers. Slow down, slow down, slow down. The words trip over themselves. What about your foul language? I ask, returning my eyes to the road. Fine, I won't swear again. She starts shaking her head frantically as the trees rush toward us. God, no. Her right hand clutches my thigh, digging in with a tight, nail-biting grip. I narrow my eyes, scan the dashboard, then the tree line. After exactly 3 seconds, I transfer my foot from gas to brake. The McLaren skids to a stop at the exact point where the road ends. For several seconds, her breath gusts out in loud, gulping heaves, her eyes frozen in wide-eyed fear. Then she explodes at me. I easily block her blows, my arms gripping her as fear turns to anger. You are a fucking asshole. Chapter 4. Mason. I throw open the door and drag her out through my side, making sure her feet don't touch the frozen ground. Get your hands off me, she flails against me. I don't stop until I round the hood and set her down on it. When she tries to stand, I stay her by inserting myself between her thighs. She's too high on adrenaline to notice how amped up I am on my own adrenaline, and also by her state of undress. What the hell is wrong with you? An hour ago you bit my head off because you thought I wanted to kill myself, and what, now you're helping me achieve the same goal? I've no intention of killing us, I reply. The car's interior lights and bright headlights bathe her in a soft glow. Her near-dry hair is wild from her antics, and my attention is riveted to the pulse racing at her throat. We were doing 210 on a 1.5-mile stretch of road. I calculated the distance and horsepower, and knew the exact moment to apply the brakes. Of course, I didn't calculate your nails digging into my thigh. Good thing I can control my urges, or we'd be wrapped around the white oak tree behind me by now. She gapes up at me, not sure what to make of my calm, matter-of-fact tone. Then she inhales sharply and shakes her head. God, you're crazy. Am I? I move closer, sliding my hands up from her covered arms to her shoulders. Her soft, silky hair caresses my fingers as I massage the tension from her rigid muscles. Your blood is pumping, and your heart is racing, and right now all you can think about is how glad you are to be alive. And in about a minute, your body will begin finding ways to disperse all that adrenaline. I move a hand down her throat, pausing to feel her pulse hammer beneath my fingers. Then I travel lower, between her warm breasts and heaving chest to where her robe is still secured by the belt. With a firm tug, I release the belt and her robe falls open. What the hell are you doing? She starts to close the gap, but I quickly capture her hands in one of mine. I press her head against the hood of the still-running engine and lean over her. Her eyes widen, but I'm satisfied to see it's not with fear. Although a touch of fear would be welcome at this point. This woman is far too cocky for her own good. You promised me you wouldn't swear, or call me Rusty. You failed on both accounts. She struggles against my hold, but she's no match for me. Not that it stops her getting in my face, though. You were trying to kill me, you bastard. I would have said anything to make sure that didn't happen. I lean in closer until our mouths are a scant inch apart, until I can feel her breath mingle with mine. So you lied, I say softly. Look, Mason, I don't know what kind of trip you're on, but I'm freezing. You wanted to get some air, I'm guessing with a side order of death wish driving. You've done that, so can we go back now? Not until we find a way to deal with your excess adrenaline, and address your foul mouth in the bargain. She swallows. I watch the movement of her slender throat, my own pulse nowhere near settled. Somewhere between yanking her from death by freezing and her turning up at the pool house, my interest is dialed up from 0 to infinite. I want her, with a craving that is unnerving. I look back up and see the moment she senses the change in me. I almost feel sorry for her. She twists away and tries to dislodge me from between her thighs. That's when I look down and freeze. I knew she wasn't wearing a bra, but I'm unprepared for her total nakedness beneath the robe. You got into the car with me, not wearing any fucking panties? I croak, not sure whether the sight of her stunning body makes me crazier or angrier. Who's got a dirty mouth now? I can't pull my gaze away from the sight of her pussy to admonish her for that tart reply. Her skin is flawlessly golden, as if she spent some time in the sun recently. and from the looks of it, she likes to sunbathe nude. Her body flows in a perfect symmetry of full, heavy breasts, a lean and shapely torso to a thin strip of pubic hair, which arrows to the hood covering her clit. My eyes stay riveted on that part of the body, my cock going from urgent twitch to full-bodied throbbing until she begins to squirm. I look back up. My swearing is justified. Yours isn't. She squirms harder and her nipples begin to tighten when my eyes are drawn to the perfect globes of her breasts. My mouth waters and the need to fuck builds in my groin. Okay, fine, I'm sorry for my potty mouth. Can we go now? There's a breathless quality to her voice, and I allow myself a smile. Does this usually work for you? You get yourself out of trouble by throwing out empty promises and apologies like confetti? She closes her eyes for a couple of seconds. God, why did I think it was a good idea to get in a damn car? I don't know. Why did you? I transfer both of her wrists to one hand and trail my fingers down the middle of her chest. Her skin quivers beneath my touch. I reach her navel and circle the cute button, my gaze rising up to capture hers again. Her green eyes are a touch darker now, and her mouth is parted. Because you look like... I don't know. Like you shouldn't be alone. She whispers. You don't sound sure, but let's leave that for the moment. Did you think it was a good idea to come out without your panties, Keeley? I ask. My fingers drift to the top of her pussy and I swear I can feel her heat beckoning my hand. Her breath catches. I didn't think I'd find myself in a position where I'd have to explain my lack of underwear to anyone. My jaw tightens. Anyone? Fine. To you? And my thumb is itching to stroke her, to feel if she is as wet and hot as I crave her to be. Are you in a habit of going out without underwear? My panties were wet and uncomfortable, and I thought we were going for a walk, not dicing with death in a sports car. I smile. You made a choice right before you got into the car with me. You knew this would happen, but you got into the car anyway. So what shall I do with you now? Her breath shudders out and her nipples tighten harder. Why are you bothering to ask? You seem to know what I'm feeling and thinking. I'm only going with the evidence before me. I'm unable to hold back any longer and my thumb grazes her clit. A small sound jerks from her and her hips twitch upward, seeking more of my touch. Is this what you want? I ask, my voice thick with the lust ripping through my insides. Shall I give you the release you're so desperate for? My touch is firmer this time, and I watch her try and stifle a moan. You think I'm desperate just because of what you overheard at the party? She taunts, but she's still squirming and she's no longer fighting to get free. Are you always this stubborn? Only when I'm dealing with insufferable bastards, she replies. I lower my head and suck one nipple into my mouth. I bite with a lack of gentleness that makes her cry out. She starts to struggle and I soothe the ache with the tip of my tongue while the thumb continues to flick over her clit. Her cry morphs into a moan and her gasps wash over my ear. I roll her nipple in my mouth, warming her, teasing and sucking until I earn another moan. When I transfer my attention to the other nipple, I dip my finger lower into her pussy and am rewarded with another jerk of her hips. I test her hole, feeling its tight wetness and groan. Need claws through me. I want to devour this woman with a hunger and possessiveness that is almost alien to me.